Miguel works wherever work is available. Sometimes he helps fishermen pull in heavy nets at dawn. Sometimes he carries sacks of rice at the market. Other days, he washes dishes at roadside food stalls until his hands wrinkle from soap and water. Every peso he earns goes to food, rent, and school supplies for his siblings. His father died when Miguel was 9, crushed by a collapsed construction scaffold. Since that day, Miguel became the man of the house. What very few people know is that while Miguel works, he sings. He sings while lifting heavy loads, while scrubbing greasy plates, while walking home exhausted under the burning sun. His voice echoes through alleys and docks, raw and powerful, filled with something deeper than training. Music is the only place where his pain rests. One night, after a long day of labor, Miguel hears a song playing from an old radio in a neighbor's house. The voice is deep, emotional, and commanding. It is Elvis Presley. The song speaks of work, struggle, and dignity. Miguel stops walking. He stands there in the dark, listening. Something inside him breaks open. He does not understand every word, but he understands the feeling. It feels like someone from another world understands his life. From that moment, Miguel begins searching for old recordings whenever he can. He listens to Elvis while repairing fishing nets or cleaning floors late at night. He practices singing quietly so he does not wake his siblings. His voice grows stronger, shaped by exhaustion and truth. He does not dream of fame. He only dreams of being heard once. Years later, someone records Miguel singing at the docks on an old phone. His voice carries across the water, strong and aching. The video is shared. Then shared again. A few months later, an email arrives from a place Miguel never imagined. America's Got Talent. Miguel thinks it is a joke. His mother cries when she reads it. They sell borrowed items, receive help from neighbors, and somehow, Miguel finds himself on a plane for the first time in his life. He presses his forehead against the window as the Philippines disappears beneath the clouds. He is terrified. He is excited. He is carrying every hope his family has ever had. The AGT stage feels like another planet. Bright lights. Huge screens. Thousands of people. Judges sitting like legends. Miguel stands backstage clutching a small folded photo of his family. His hands shake. A producer asks how he feels. Miguel whispers that he is afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of forgetting the song. Afraid of being invisible again. Then his name is called. Miguel walks onto the stage slowly. The audience sees a small boy in worn clothes, standing alone in a massive space. The judges smile politely, unsure of what to expect. Simon Cowell asks Miguel where he is from. Miguel answers softly, the Philippines. Asked about his life, Miguel hesitates, then simply says he works to help his family. The room grows quieter. When asked what he will sing, Miguel lifts his head and says he will sing an Elvis song about work. The audience murmurs. Simon raises an eyebrow. The music starts. From the first note, something changes. Miguel's voice is not polished. It is not perfect. It is real. It carries the weight of every sunrise spent working instead of playing. It carries grief, responsibility, and resilience. The song becomes a confession. The lyrics about labor are no longer words. They are lived experience. The audience leans forward. Judges freeze. One judge's eyes fill with tears. Simon's expression shifts from curiosity to shock. The camera pans to the crowd, people wiping their faces, hands covering mouths. Miguel closes his eyes as he sings the final line, pouring everything he has into that moment. When the last note fades, there is silence. Then the entire theater erupts. A standing ovation explodes. The crowd roars. Miguel stands frozen, stunned, unsure if this reaction is real. Tears fall from his eyes. He bows slightly. Overwhelmed. One judge presses the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rains from above. Miguel collapses to his knees, sobbing. He covers his face, shaking, unable to believe what is happening. The judges rush to the stage. Simon tells Miguel that his voice carries truth that cannot be taught. Another judge says this is why the show exists. The audience chants his name. Backstage, Miguel calls his mother. He cannot speak through his tears. She screams and cries on the phone. For the first time since his father died, Miguel feels like the weight on his shoulders has lifted, even just a little. The performance goes viral overnight. Millions watch the poor Filipino boy who brought Elvis back to life. People around the world see themselves in his story. Donations pour in. Interviews follow. But Miguel remains humble. He still speaks about work, about family, about dignity. Miguel does not win the competition. But he wins something bigger. A recording contract. Scholarships for his siblings. A house for his mother. And a voice that will never again be ignored. Years later, Miguel returns to the Philippines. He walks the same docks, but now people recognize him. He sings again, not because he must, but because he loves to. The labor song still lives in his voice, reminding the world that greatness does not come from comfort, but from courage. And sometimes, all it takes is one song, sung by the right soul, to remind us what being human truly means. If this story moved you, remember to like, share, and subscribe, because voices like Miguel's deserve to be heard everywhere.